My name is Melissa Skelton, and currently I live in the Anglican Church of Canada, the Diocese of New Westminster. And I'm going to speak to you today about group and team dynamics, one view of that. So let's have a look at a group. This, of course, isn't a real group. It's a picture of a group. And what you'll see is a group of people gathered around a table. You'll notice each one is a different color, meaning each one is bringing a different personality, a different experience, perhaps a different culture and ethnicity, all kinds of differences to the group or the team. So as you look at this, I want you to think about a group or a team in your own life. Could be something you're currently involved in or something from your past. Think about maybe a couple of groups or teams, and think about one that was really productive for you, one you felt was a good use of your time and you came away from the meetings feeling satisfied. Now think about another group or team, one that is not quite like that, one that is where you perhaps felt a little frustrated or came away feeling like that was not a good use of your time. You either felt that in terms of the way it was focused or the way the meetings were conducted. So think about both those things. So when I think about those things, what comes up for me is that those teams that were the most and are the most satisfying for me are those that where we're clear about and we go after working on the purpose for which we have been called together. There's a kind of output we're looking for, and we actually accomplish that purpose. And at the same time, there are ways that we're operating that are honoring the fact that we are a group of human beings who are different and who want to work together and honor each other in that process of relationship, as well as actually make the most of the gifts and skills that the different people are bringing to the table. So let's go to the theory now. As I said, this is about group and team dynamics. So I guess the first thing to say, and I've already touched on it, is that every group or team has two jobs. First, we've been brought together to typically accomplish a task, even if that task is socializing. But in most of the groups or teams we're in, there's a specific task we've been given to do, and that's an important part of it. And secondly, a job that a group has is maintaining the relationships among all the group members. And as we said, those group members are different from one another, but it is the relational process that assists in accomplishing the task. Another little way of thinking about this. So as I said, task, the thing that we're there to do, the thing that we're there to accomplish, you see it on the top there. Maintenance, meaning those activities and behaviors we do to maintain the relationships among those people who are in the group. And because group members are not alike, they're all bringing different and individual needs, having some sort of sense of how to incorporate those needs into productive ways of operating as a group. Let's talk about how we might understand each of these. And as we go to that, let me just say something about what it means to have a group that pays attention to all of these things. Often we think about it's the leader's role or it's the facilitator's role to do all those things, to be the sort of super person who's both paying attention to tasks and making sure that everybody stays connected during the task in order for people to feel a sense of satisfaction in their life in the team, and also so that at the end of a meeting or meetings, they get a thing done. The best possible scenario, of course, is that a leader is able to pay attention to both of those things, but also that group members begin to think about how they can do them too. And so that in the end, and as the team functions, group members take responsibility for paying attention to both task and maintenance functions. So what you see here is a little wonderful piece of newsprint in which it has some of the particular functions related to tasks written up here. So let's look at a couple of these. And then you might even think about some of the groups and teams that you might be in a typical church setting, such as a vestry meeting, or a vestry that's accomplishing something over kind of a cycle of its life together during a regular program year. You might think about a liturgy planning group, or you might think about a Bible study, or a stewardship group, or a property team. All of these teams, it's the same sorts of concerns and levels of group functioning that we're trying to pay attention to. So first, again, the task function. And these are just, again, these are 3 different levels of functioning in a team. A task function might be initiating. So this would be where someone actually offers an idea, frames up the structure of the group. So an initiating function might be something like this. Let's get started. And let's talk about what we're here to do tonight, whatever the team might be. That's an initiating function. Another initiating would be simply to offer an idea. Information seeking. This is where someone takes the initiative to ask for information that might be relevant to the task. So for instance, if a group is come together to look at a particular fundraising campaign for a parish, an information seeking question might be, well, what have we done before in this realm that's been successful, and what does it tell us about our parish? Information giving, of course, is someone who offers information rather than withholding it, that helps to shape the effectiveness of the team. So in response to the information seeking I just mentioned, the information giving might be, well, we tried a raffle and it didn't work, and besides, it was just too much for us to manage. And it kind of doesn't express the sort of sense of fun we like to have with raising money. Information giving. Clarifying or elaborating. So this is a function that seeks to sort of dig deeper and unpack maybe what someone's idea is. So a clarifying question might be, from my information seeking question, a clarifying question might be, could you say a little bit more about what you mean by a fundraising activity? Or could you clarify what that raffle was about? Could you give me more information about it? Could you clarify what you're proposing? Summarizing is a very helpful kind of function where someone hears a bunch of the conversation that's happened to date and then summarizes it as a way of marking what's been already offered, and often taking a deep breath to go to the next place. Consensus seeking. This is where someone actually checks in with group members to see if people are in agreement to perhaps an idea that's been put forth. And often it's done individually, or you could ask for people to put up their hands, or you could say, it sounds like we're on the same page about that. Are you? Yes or no? And that brings us to closing, which is pretty much what I just said. It's when a task has been accomplished, maybe it's a smaller task within the larger meeting, where someone says, oh, it looks like we're ready to move on, or maybe, are we ready to vote? So all of these functions, either done by a group leader or facilitator or by other group members, really assist a group to stay focused on and accomplish things around their task. So let's look at group maintenance. Let's look at group maintenance. We're going to look at group maintenance now. Oh, all right, awesome. So just as a reminder, these are functions, again, done by anybody in the group, that help acknowledge and build on the fact that we're in relationship, we're human beings in relationship to each other as we do the work. We're not a machine, we're human beings with delights, needs, feelings, together as a group that need acknowledging and building on as we do the work. So strangely, some people might say, well, gosh, well, this is, this is just so touchy-feely, but the fact of the matter is paying attention to maintenance, the group maintenance, assists in doing the task. All right, so let's look at these. I like it, expressing group feelings. So there are times in the life of a group when there is a kind of shared feeling that comes upon a group that, when acknowledged, can release energy to go forward. So it would be something like this. It feels like our group is stuck, and I'm not sure if we are confused or we are afraid or we are what. What do the rest of you think? Are we stuck, and if so, why? Are we angry about something? Are we elated about something? And when you acknowledge a feeling like that, it can be an energy that you build on. So it's very, very helpful to have a group member sort of sense what the group feeling is and acknowledge it, and perhaps ask a question about it as a clue to where we might go next. Encouraging, one of my favorites. Encouraging is any of the time a group member just says something warm and encouraging to the group, and later, as I'm going to talk about, to individuals. It would be something like, wow, didn't we just do a great job with that? Wow, we're almost there. We can do it. We can make it. Or I think, wow, this is awesome what our group is accomplishing. And I know we can make it through this next thing before our group time is over. Let's try to see if we can't also get this done. What do you think? Very helpful to the spirit of a group. Harmonizing. Harmonizing is when a group member actually tries to mediate what appears to be a conflict, tries to bring 2 points of view together outside oneself. So it might be something like this. John had this really good idea, and Mary had this different idea. I wonder if we could put them together and honor both of those contributions as our solution. So it's someone who has a really good sense for how to bind ideas, and therefore the honor and value of people together. Gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is a person who encourages folks who haven't contributed, who holds back those who are contributing too much for whatever reasons, and tries to kind of keep a balance of the ability to contribute at all. So it might be something like this. Jane, we haven't heard anything from you. I wonder if you've got an idea here. Or a diplomatic way of keeping people who are too participative at bay would be something like, let's hear from somebody who hasn't spoken yet. And finally, compromising. So compromising, I think of compromising as more an individual thing that you do. So if I'm advocating for a strong point of view and someone offers an opposite point of view, it would be me modeling something that gives myself the gift of changing my mind, or myself working to harmonize with another person. So harmonizing and compromising, very similar. One perhaps a little bit more about our own modeling of an openness to working with other people. Okay, so we've talked, again, task and maintenance. Another dimension of maintenance is this thing that I've mentioned about individual needs. And sadly, I'm not going to just talk about the positive way of working with individual needs, really, because the whole maintenance function is really about that. The maintenance function is about taking into account the ability of the group to work together as a group of human beings in a way, strangely, or maybe not so strangely, works with the individual needs that people are bringing to the group to be acknowledged, to make a contribution, to be included. All of those things are included in that maintenance function. And when those things are not paid attention to, and so some of these are about group maintenance and some of them are strictly about individual needs, you just see a kind of odd distortion of some of what people are bringing. So just say something about that. And I'd say if we're in a group where a lot of this is happening, it's probably a need to go back and look at some of the maintenance functions, or it has to do with an overabundance of individual need that is getting frustrated, sometimes maybe rightfully so, in the group setting. So dominating, I guess we all know what this is. Someone who has to take up all the space. The only point of view is their point of view. The only idea that will work is their idea. And this is really counterproductive to the kind of value that a group brings. Aggressiveness. This is someone who actually can turn on kind of attacking the process, attacking the leader, attacking the facilitator. If you're the facilitator or leader, it's one of the most uncomfortable dynamics to ever work with. And again, I would advocate for it's not just the role of facilitator or leader, but the role of group members to kind of bell this cat, to say something about this and to try to bring it back into some kind of balance. Blocking, no idea it works. Once you get to what you think the solution is in a group, someone finds some way, sometimes it can be a pleasant way or sometimes an unpleasant way to block the group going forward. Dependency. This is about people disappearing. Someone who has given so much authority over to another person that they have withdrawn or they've disappeared, or everything that other person thinks or does is correct, is beautiful, is right. It's so unhelpful. It can be gratifying but unhelpful. And finally, court jesting. This is like everything is a joke. Everything is funny, and somehow any serious business gets undercut. So just some things to kind of look for in the relational world of the group and in the individual needs that someone is bringing. So just to summarize, every group needs both task and maintenance. Those are two functions. And the best groups are those that pay attention to both and that help group members take on the functions of making sure the task gets done and making sure that the relationships are bound together and knit together every step of the way, so that you get your best ideas and people are satisfied to do the work.